Sup, Leo? Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Chris, and this is the first video I'm doing for you guys. I missed the full moon in Aries work for you, so I'm making sure I get you guys done for this Libra new moon. I think it's going to be exciting. I'm reading here with the Light and Shadow Tarot, and then at the end we're going to go ahead and clarify with the Nature Nurture Oracle, right? Just for like a different perspective, right? So we got the new moon in Libra, and what does that mean? We got energies affecting the signs with regards to balance, with regards to harmony, with regards to relationships and creativity. But I think something really special about what's happening right now that's going to particularly affect you guys is that Uranus is in opposition to the moon. Uranus and Leo do not, right? Because you guys are ruled by the sun. You are like the kings, right? You are the authority. You want to be dominant. You want to be in charge. And that's cool. That's kind of sexy, you know what I'm saying? I mean, not like kind of sexy, like I like it. Gemini. I like it a lot. But like Uranus is like that James Dean kind of like rebel without a cause figure. Like, they don't listen to anybody. Uranus doesn't like respect authority. But you know what the thing is, Leo's like, you guys don't have a choice. Like, this is the energy that's coming in to the universe, and this is how it's going to affect you, and you kind of just have to be okay with going along for the ride, right? Like, the balance I think that the Libra new moon is bringing you guys is like a little bit of letting go of control, a little bit of like recognizing that like you're not always going to be the top dog in every situation. And you know, Two of Pentacles, we have balance, right? And it's not just about like like being humble per se, but there is going to be an element here of honesty, right? Like, you guys can be a little dramatic, right? But that's like the Leo flair. But what you're being called on to do now is to be honest, right? To like be rooted in your honesty. Like Two of Pentacles, like being rooted, like having a firm grip on what's happening. Like, this is sort of, to me, combined with what we're talking about with you guys, like the idea of standing in your truth. Right? And it's not necessarily that you're liars. Like, you guys are honest. You're straightforward. You know what's what. But right now you're being asked to like really get to the heart of what's what, right? Like maybe what this is, like I almost feel like maybe there's been an element of self-deception, right? Where like maybe your Leo ego needed to be a little bolstered up and like be told things that not necessarily weren't true, but like I said, dramatic, like maybe a little bit of an exaggeration. You know, like maybe something was all somebody else's fault, or like you were at the top of your game and then all of a sudden, like, I don't want to say a job loss, but you get knocked down a little bit. Like, that's the energy I'm feeling for you guys with this moon cycle. Is like maybe kind of getting knocked down a little bit. And not just like the ego blow, but what that kind of makes you deal with. Right? Like what that has to make you face in yourself. Like the Uranus energy, like you don't always have everything under control. That's not saying to not try to, but you know, what's that? The serenity prayer? Like, accept the things I cannot change and have the courage to change the rest. Like, you guys have the courage to change the rest, right? Like, that's part of who you are. We have death. Like, I just don't think it's going to be easy. I feel like, in fact, now looking at this, like, this could not just mean balance or like being rooted, but almost like that being undermined, that being taken away, like some sense of security. And my impulse was to say like emotional security, like ego, mental security. But I think like what's coming here is like material insecurity, like material instability. Right? On some decks, it shows a guy like trying to struggling to balance two pentacles. This deck is a little nicer with it, like it feels like partnership and companionship, but followed by the death. Like for right now, I'm feeling like there's going to be some kind of blow to this sense of stability, to your sense of security. I think it's going to be, originally I said not, but I think it's going to be job related or career related. Like if you don't work a 9 to 5, or like your 9 to 5 is fine, but like I don't know, you have some dreams or aspirations that you're aspiring towards, like it feels like something is going to end. And not, this is the second time this card has come up tonight and been interpreted in the less favorable way. Like usually death implies like end of one thing, the start of another, right? But for me tonight, it's kind of representing like just the end, and just kind of like hitting the bottom and having to like deal with that. But we're talking about Libra, right? Libra's a beautiful, harmonious sign. Like it likes peace. It likes, you know, people getting along. It likes harmony. And it likes relationships. And you guys can be very loyal, right? And I feel like there's something connected here with that. Like maybe, and we'll see what else comes out, but like maybe something goes astray with someone who you thought like you could trust. You find out maybe this person's gossiping about you or something. Princess of Wands, like, this is making me really uncomfortable. I feel like this is Leo. I mean, like, look, she's riding a cat, right? But this is Leo acting out to me. Because that's something you guys do, right? Like, you have those sharp claws and you use them. Right? That honesty and all that stuff I was talking about, like, you can tear somebody down. Maybe someone you felt close to, or that you could trust. And here's like the implication of this to me is like something went wrong that's making you lash out like that. That's causing that ending. I think you might find conflict in some of your relationships surrounding, like, I feel like there's going to be something surrounding the sense of authority or like power. Like power dynamics is what is screaming to me right here. Like maybe you had the power in a situation and someone didn't like it, so like now they kind of backstabbed you or brought you down a little bit. Like this might be happening for you guys in the next 2 weeks until the full moon. And I feel like the full moon in Taurus is going to like bring a little stability, but it's like, again, the implication is that like your world gets rocked. And the interpretation of death I'm going to go with is that like you have to go with the flow. Like there's an energy cycle here and you just have to go with it. Like you don't have a choice. This is two things to me right now, the Knight of Cups. Typically a card of like wishes granted and like emotional fulfillment, but I feel like sort of like dreams not fulfilled. Like whatever this partnership is, like it was kind of built around a dream. And remember when I talked earlier about honesty and standing in your truth? Like this feels to me like, which is so funny because this is usually not the, well, I don't read reverse, right? So, because I like to look at the context and use intuition. But if this card was reversed, what would it signify? Like wishes not fulfilled, wishes not granted, like like you're not getting the satisfaction you're looking for. And that's exactly what this card is coming up to me as right now. Like, just broken dreams, kind of. Well, in the context of these guys, right? And like, Leo, like, you guys lash out, yes, but it's when you're hurt. And I think it's appropriate that the Princess of Wands is the youngest of the Court of Wands, right? She can be sensitive. She doesn't know how to control her fire, and she can lash out when she's hurt, right? Like, it's that ego thing I was talking about. Like, no one's gonna fuck with you. No one fucks with you, right? Because you're the motherfucking king of the jungle. I almost like referenced Katy Perry and said, hear me roar, but like, no. Like, I'm cool with referencing pop culture in these readings, but I'm not going to Katy Perry and roar. Like, that's fine, but I mean, to be fair, I did reference Swish Swish to the Capricorns yesterday. Sagittarius. But like, come on, that was Nicki Minaj. Anyway. Like, Leo, it's like good that you're so strong and you're so determined, right? This is kind of reminding me of when people say like you're given the burdens that you can carry. Like, this combination of things to me right here could break somebody. You know, like, I don't mean like, I don't ever believe people are ever truly broken or like can't get back up and like rebound from a situation, but like broke, like a part of their spirit broken. You know what I mean? And I've been talking about fire a lot as like kind of representing the spirit, that spark, that like the soul. And you guys have a lot of it. Super fiery. Like, the sun is the planet. It's not a planet. For astrological sake, we kind of refer to it as a planet, but we know it's not a planet, okay? Like, let me be clear. I know. But that's your ruling planet. The sun. Like, the center of warmth and heat in our solar system, in our universe. Okay. So we have the Wheel of Fortune, right? 95% of the time that this comes up, like, we can look at it as a reversal in fortune. So, like, if you're on top of the world, things could come crashing down. If you're at the bottom of the pit, like, there's nowhere to go but up. And my first impulse was to like, oh no, come on, we're talking about dreams dashed and like endings and like I don't know, some kind of betrayal or just like loss of a valuable relationship. But so I was first going to say, oh, like, this is just things going bad. Like, you felt on top of the world and now you're like falling. And I do still want that to be a factor in what we're talking about here, because I think it is important. Like, what we're talking about here, guys, about accepting change and going with the flow. Like, the Wheel of Fortune is a perfect example of like, sometimes shit happens and you can't control it. Like, you just have to roll with the punches, right? Just the same way good things can happen and you can't control it sometimes. It's just like good fortune. Sometimes you have bad fortune. But to me, this is kind of like at the end of the time frame that we're talking about. Like, this is sort of like showing things being at the bottom. But what did I just say before? Like, the implication is that there's nowhere to go but up. Like, standing in your truth, Leo. Like, it's so important for you guys to get like solid. Again, like, what's coming up for all the signs, like, balancing with Libra isn't just about being even, it's about like having a solid foundation. You know what I'm saying? Like, having solid relationships. Like, with yourself too, but like for you guys, I don't think that's the problem. Unless it becomes like deceit, or like the way I said you guys can be dramatic or like very grandiose. Like, just don't get detached from reality. But at the same time, RuPaul, he has this great saying that I read once where he says he doesn't read comments or critiques, criticisms. He said because the moment you start to believe the bad stuff is true, once you start to believe the good stuff is true, you're gonna automatically start to believe the bad stuff is true as well, because you're putting value into what people are saying. So the good stuff feels good, but the bad stuff is gonna hurt you too, right? With Virgo, I was talking a lot with them about like inner wealth and like inner validation and getting a good sense of self love, right? And Leo, like, I don't think you're ever gonna show it, but I think you have the potential to maybe, as much as what people say that's good about you, like, bolsters you up and makes you feel good, like, sometimes the bad shit can make you feel bad. Like, you're not immune to it just because you have, like, sometimes people, and don't take this the wrong way, like, I'm calling you guys egotistical, but sometimes the people with the biggest egos have the most sensitive ones, right? Unless it comes from a spot, like, really deep within where they're just, like, validated on the inside, which I've started to believe partially just comes with age. Because I feel myself going through it as I get older, and I see older people like just like they don't give two fucks, right? A friend of mine I used to have who was a Leo, used to have, that's a whole nother story. They can go into that. Oh, Leo. She used to say like, I can't wait till I can be an old lady and not have to worry about how I look and not give a fuck what anybody thinks of me. Like, that was a goal for her in life, was to not care so much about what people thought about her. And she was an arrogant motherfucker, right? But this is a perfect story for what we're talking about here with like standing in your own truth, like getting yourself your own validation and being honest. And like, Leo, isn't it so much better for you to be like honest with yourself than someone else be it with you? Like, you guys can be straightforward. Like, why don't you turn that shit on yourself? And not in a vicious, nasty way where like you just start beating yourself up and hating on yourself for not being like amazing and perfect and like everything you always thought you were. And that's where the honesty comes in. Like, we're people. Everyone is flawed. Everyone is flawed, right? So it doesn't matter what a majestic fucking mane you have that you like to toss around in people's face, like, aren't I gorgeous, aren't I beautiful, aren't I perfect, I'm a Leo. But you know what I'm saying? Like, Prince of Swords. So this represents one of your paths going forward for this new moon cycle, right? And what is the Prince of Swords? He just charges forward. He is like that rush of energy, like that gust of wind that just goes straight forward and acts, right? But that's part of also like why he's a prince, because he's kind of immature, right? Like, it's that gusto that you have when you're young and like think you're everything and you can just do whatever you want. But like, part of the caveat of the Prince of Swords is that like thinking without acting. I mean, acting without thinking. Right? And I feel like that kind of relates to this, like where you just kind of lash out. Like, the Prince of Swords is just charging forward. And I want to pull the other path just to get context to see like what kind of energy is being talked about here. Like, is it positive, or is this what you need to embody? Like, this whole like, that's what you need to embody. And I want to pull the other card, but like the whole fuck it attitude I'm talking about, like where you can be imperfect. Like, yeah, the Prince of Swords like rushes forward and it's dangerous, but like that's also what makes him strong. Like, well, that's what makes his energy so attractive. Whereas I don't have it out here, but the Prince of Wands in my deck is riding a lion, very Leo card. Like, it's kind of like slower and steadier, right? Because he has that arrogance where he's like not gonna fuck up. He's gonna be checking his hair every step along the way to make sure he's flawless. And it's funny because we are talking about Libra, and like the other sign I associate it with like beauty and like that kind of perfection is Libra. And there is a similarity. Like, I think underneath it all, you guys are kind of like sensitive. Leo doesn't show it as much. You don't like to show it. Like, Libra will show it a little bit more. Like Kim Kardashian and her ugly cries. You know what I mean? Like, but Leo, like, you guys don't let that shit out. The other path we have is the Hermit. And I don't like this for you guys right now. I really don't. Like, everything we've been talking about like not overthinking and not trying to be perfect, like the Hermit is Virgo. You want to talk about a sign that tries to be perfect? Like, right now the Hermit is just like this dude who's like not ready to be out in the world, so he's just taking his time like learning and thinking and like hiding himself away. As opposed to this, like, look at this is why I wanted to pull the other cards to see like the opposing energies here. Do you see what I'm seeing? Like, fast, action, movement, energy. With the potential for falling, right? With the potential for getting hurt, for making a mistake. But like, in contrast to this, like when I look at all the other cards in this spread, like, they're saying, like, this is what you need. Like, you need to break away from this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, this stuff, like, is no bueno. This stuff is no good. It's kind of toxic. It's breaking you down a little bit. So do you take this slow, steady energy? No? Like, seriously, no. Like, I don't want to tell you what to do, so like, let's pretend it was your own idea all along. You're so smart, Leo. Everyone should be as smart as you. Like, let's pretend it's your idea. Like, don't do this. Like, be okay with like just putting yourself out there. Like, being vulnerable. That's like a big emphasis that I feel for what you guys need for this moon sign. Like, take the kind of like helplessness that Uranus might make you feel, where like you're not getting, I don't get no respect, like no one's listening to me, or like I'm not in charge, what do I do? And just like go with it and like open up and use that like Libra vulnerability to put yourself out there in ways that are scary, maybe, yeah. But like, that's what the truth is, right? Like, you guys like to be honest with people about them. What about you? Like, is it okay to be a beginner at something? Is it okay to struggle with something? Is it okay to have fears? Like, I know you can do it. Like, Leo, I think you can open up, but it's very much on your terms, right? Like, similar to Aries. Aries always like to act like they're just like hard and tough and in charge and nothing phases them. Until the one day they just vomit all of their emotions over you at once. Like, you'll ask them every day of your life, and then they'll be like fine and have nothing to say. Until the day that they have something to say, and then they have everything to say. Like, you're almost a little bit like that. Where you kind of keep things quiet, and then you just like, blah! And let it out. But like, let it out and like, not against people. Like, don't like lash out at people, let it out in that way, but like in a more balanced way. At the bottom of the deck, you have justice. Like for me right now, the interpretation of justice that's coming to mind is like reaping what you sow. Like if somebody here like fucked you over, like they're gonna get it, you know? Like you're gonna get what you deserve. Like I feel like this is showing that like your rightful place, Leo, is to be elevated, to have status, to be someone that people look up to. And this is the card of Libra. Like the balance I'm asking for you guys, and justice is karma. And karma is what? It's the truth, right? It's like an objective accounting of how you live your life. Of also in the fateful way of karma, like what skills you have, what personality you have, like where all the factors that are you and circumstances that are you like culminate. And like that's to me fate. So I think you guys could be on the right path, but you have to find the right path. And not this way. Not slow with your lantern. Like, look at the snail on his head. He's slow. Like this way. Like fast and swift. Like stop thinking about it twice. Like once you know what the truth is, once you know what feels honest, like you have to go for it, Leo. Like you have to be okay with getting hurt. That's what I'm feeling right now. Like you have to be okay with getting hurt. You have to be okay with everything not going your way. And I feel like it could be liberating if you let it be. You know, like I feel like it could really be like more fun than you can even imagine. You ever see somebody who's like always used to being in charge and always used to being in the authority, and then they get to let go and like they have the time of their life? Like, look, the star. This is an Aquarius card, but this is also like so you guys. Like everything I'm talking about here about where you're gonna end up if you just like get rooted and start making moves. Like this is a big move, guys. The star. This is you guys shining. This is you being like your awesome bad, like before I was kind of making fun of you for tossing your mane around, but now it's like that shit's hot. I wish my mane was like that. Like everyone's gonna want to look at you. You're gonna inspire people. That's also why like you guys like being in charge and being leaders, because you have like this great self-leadership that makes people like look up to you. So point being, Leo, like it's super promising. It's super promising. Like the Two of Pentacles, yes, I was saying like difficulties with other people, but I feel like a calmness. You know, I feel like you guys are going to embody this like calm spirit, like, and you're going to get through it because like you don't have a choice, really. So what I was saying before about like dreams being broken, like this is also like what's driving you though, right? Like something might get crushed a little bit in the next few weeks, but it's not like your dreams are gonna die. It's like taking a blow and not getting what you want, but like in the long run, it's like that old cliche about like a broken bone heals stronger. Like this is not lost hope whatsoever. Like look, after I did all this spread where we have this like kind of negatively tinged stuff, like we're starting to get like really positive outlook cards at the end. You have the Six of Pentacles. This is like the opposite of what I was saying with the Two of Pentacles, where like this is like instability. And then here it's like the definition of stability, like so stable that like you can just give to others. Like you guys are generous, right? You're a generous sign. You love giving of yourself. Like I think that's also why you like to be in charge, because like you do a good job of like giving to other people. You like to help people. But it's almost like let people help you too, Leo. That's what I want to say to you. Like, let yourself be helped. And how do you do that? By being vulnerable, by opening up, by admitting weaknesses, by admitting fears, by admitting flaws. That's the only way. Like, you can't expect people to help you if you're not telling them that you need it. You know what I'm saying? So we're just going to pull one more card, and then we're going to look at the Nature Nurture Oracle for any like clarification or anything like that. Bam! Leo, King of Wands. Like, what a great note to end on. Like, do you see the progression? From like this snot-nosed little bitchy kid. I don't mean bitchy like in a feminine, but like what I was saying before about like snappy. Like lashing out to this guy who's like, look at his face, like he's still strong, he's fierce, he's determined, but he's focused. Like all that fire is focused, driving forward, right? Like here you have a path, but like this is kind of where it ends up. Like you get used to riding your fucking falcon or whatever, the goddamn eagle, so swiftly and so fast, like you can like rock anything. Like this is just kind of opening up the floodgates. And then this is you like mastering those floodgates. Or like the water that comes out of them. You know what I mean? Like here you are, Leo, like so empowered. Like this dream was dashed before. Where'd it go? This dream was dashed before? Like, really? Like, tell me that again. What you said about that dream being broken? Like, do you see my face? Does that look like the face of a person who's gonna, like, let some fuckery, like, mess my shit up? No. I'm going places, my dude. You know what I'm saying? It looks good. But if there's one thing I can say, guys, it's like, be vulnerable. And not in a soft, mushy way, but like in a way where you're just open. Open yourself up. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with others. Like, be a little scared. Like, but the adrenaline's pumping. And then we have the moon. Timing. This is like weathering the storm, like, you know, like what I said about all this stuff going like bad, or the Wheel of Fortune more so. Like, things might get shitty, but like just hold out. They're gonna get better. And you're gonna come out the other side more empowered and ready to fuck shit up. Like in a good way, like in a Leo way, in the like sexy ass Leo, like I run it. Kinship, like everything I've been saying about like your friends and like being generous to people and being open with people and letting yourself get help. This is what this card is saying, like lean on people. Depend on other people. You know, like the lion is the king of the jungle, but he still rolls in a fucking pack. Pride. Right? He still rolls with other lions. Females, but you know what I mean? Like, the king of the jungle still has his friends or needs his friends. Right? And that helps with this. This helps like this pass easier. So the sleeping man generally can mean like someone with their eyes closed or like dreamy worlds, but right now with everything we're talking about, this is like that vulnerability. You know, this is like your unconscious world like being exposed. Like willing to open yourself up that deeply. And if you can't go that deeply, like go a little deeper, but this is like showing like these two together is like you're opening up to people. Like they're gonna see things that maybe you don't normally show people. First you have to do that with yourself, right? Like to get real and get solid, but then like it's gonna shine outwards. And then again, what do you have at the end? Like good luck, the koi fish, good fortune, right? Like we were looking at the star card and the 6 of Pentacles, right? And the King of Wands, like powerhouse of fortune and good luck. What comes before it? All that like harder stuff, that patience, that relying on people, that being vulnerable and like giving yourself time to learn and get better and be good, you know, right? Like I can't even deal with this. Like the corn and the harvest is like justice, or that came up before, like everything manifesting the way you wanted it to, right? Like what was unstable before is now like firmly rooted. All right, guys? So, you know, if people push you a little bit, like try to take it easy, you know? Like don't get too crazy. Like cuz things are going to get crazy for you. But like don't lose a grip on yourself. And if you do, like talk to somebody about it. Like open up your heart. Like I know you can do it. You're not like a super closed off sign. Like I said before, you can be open. It's just like when you want to be. So if you have a friend who's like really good at talking, really good at being open, like get in touch with them. You know, like my Leo friend I mentioned earlier, we had a lot of deep conversations, and maybe she could do that with people, but like not everybody. People she was close with, people who would do that back, who would be vulnerable back, and I was very good at that. I'm an open book. Okay? Leo, like, be graceful, be beautiful, like, just remember who you are. Remember who you are. Oh, God. Sorry about that. Sorry, not sorry. Fuck it. It is what it is. Alright, guys. Well, I hope this was good. I really look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks at the new full moon. And, like, rock the fuck on, Leo. Like, call me. Sorry. I find you guys very attractive. That's all I'll say.